The struggle to forget someone who has wounded us deeply is a universal human experience. Despite our best attempts to move forward, fill the void with new experiences, or convince ourselves it no longer matters, the memory persists like a stubborn shadow. This emotional attachment cannot be explained merely through surface-level understanding. We must journey deeper into the hidden recesses of our minds and souls. Carl Jung, one of psychology's most brilliant minds, dedicated his life to exploring the mysteries of the unconscious. His insights provide profound understanding about why we remain tethered to painful relationships and why emotional injuries can seem impossible to heal. This exploration isn't just for those seeking to forget. It's for anyone wanting to truly heal, understand themselves more deeply, and regain emotional sovereignty. Picture this scenario. You're lying alone at night, surrounded by silence. The world sleeps peacefully, yet your mind remains restless. Memories flood back, the laughter, the pain, the words that remained unspoken, as if everything happened only yesterday. Questions haunt you. Could things have been different? What could I have done differently? Why did I allow someone to impact me so profoundly? This thought pattern isn't coincidental. It reflects something unresolved within, something asking to be understood. And you aren't alone in this experience. Countless people carry deep emotional scars from relationships, and despite society's insistence that time heals all wounds, the reality is far more nuanced. Time alone cannot heal what remains unaddressed within us. Jung's teachings illuminate an essential truth. What we don't process consciously persists in our unconscious. It doesn't vanish. It retreats into what Jung termed the shadow, continuing to influence our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors beneath our awareness. The unconscious mind preserves everything we haven't fully processed, storing it in this vast internal space. From there, it manifests in our daily lives, often without our recognition. This explains why, even when you consciously desire to forget someone, something within resists. The emotional connections, shared experiences, and even the pain itself become persistent echoes resonating deep within you. 1. The shadow self. The heart of Jungian psychology lies a concept crucial to understanding why letting go proves so difficult. The shadow self. The shadow encompasses all experiences, emotions, and desires we've repressed or ignored. Everything we find too painful, uncomfortable, or challenging to confront directly. When we experience a painful relationship, especially one leaving us feeling abandoned, betrayed, or unworthy, these emotions often get buried in our shadow rather than processed fully. But the shadow doesn't remain silent. It influences us in subtle yet powerful ways through persistent memories, intrusive thoughts, and behavioral patterns that keep us trapped in cycles of suffering. This explains why some individuals find themselves repeatedly drawn towards similar toxic relationships. It's not mere coincidence. It's the unconscious mind recreating unhealed wounds, seeking resolution, pushing us towards situations mirroring what remains unhealed. According to Jung, the shadow contains aspects of our personality we deem unacceptable, uncomfortable, or unworthy. Our deepest fears, insecurities, unfulfilled desires, and unresolved wounds. We push these elements into the unconscious because they feel too painful to confront. However, the shadow doesn't simply disappear. It manifests in our interactions with others, particularly in emotionally charged relationships. Jung suggested that what we reject in ourselves often gets projected onto others. In other words, when someone deeply hurts us, it's not always exclusively about their actions. Often, the real pain stems from what they revealed about ourselves, about aspects we haven't yet acknowledged. Consider this. Perhaps the person who hurt you represented something you fear within yourself. Maybe their actions triggered your deep-seated fear of abandonment, exposing a desperate need for companionship you've long refused to recognize. Or perhaps their rejection reopened an old emotional wound from childhood that never properly healed. The shadow functions like a mirror, reflecting back aspects of our psyche buried in our subconscious. When someone unknowingly triggers this reflection, the intensity can overwhelm us, as if we're being forced to confront versions of ourselves we'd rather not see. This is what makes letting go so challenging. The suffering isn't solely tied to another person. It's intricately connected to what they've unearthed within us. Ask yourself, what did that relationship reveal about you? Which parts of yourself have you yet to accept? Reflecting on these questions isn't easy, but it represents the first crucial step towards genuine healing. Jung famously stated, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." As long as we avoid confronting the emotions, wounds, and projections emerging from our relationships, we remain trapped in repetitive cycles. But there's hope. Once we bring our shadows into the light, we can not only release the pain, but learn from it. If these insights are resonating with you, I invite you to take a moment right now to hit that subscribe button and join the Motivation Dose community. By liking and sharing this video, you're helping others who might be struggling with similar emotional wounds find the guidance they need. Let's build a community of healing and growth together. Now, let's continue our journey into understanding why certain people remain etched in our hearts and minds. 2. Archetypal patterns. Why do we seemingly repeat the same painful stories in our relationships? Jung provides a fascinating explanation. Our psyche is shaped by archetypes, universal patterns residing within the collective unconscious that function like invisible guides, influencing our emotions, thoughts, and significantly, how we navigate relationships. In harmful relationships, certain archetypes emerge predictably. One of the most common is the savior, someone feeling an overwhelming need to rescue or fix others. While seemingly noble, this role often masks deep insecurity, the need to feel needed for validation. On the opposite side stands the victim, someone identifying with suffering and helplessness, believing their well-being depends on others. This archetype naturally attracts the savior, creating a relationship built on mutual dependency. Lurking in the shadows is the villain, arising when unhealed wounds manifest as aggression, control, or manipulation. Often, those playing the villain role have been wounded themselves and perpetuate pain cycles as self-protection. These archetypes don't exist in isolation. They interact, fuel each other, and create complex emotional patterns. For example, someone identifying as the savior may initially feel fulfilled, helping someone they perceive as a victim. Over time, they may feel drained or taken advantage of. This resentment eventually transforms them into the villain in the victim's eyes, creating cycles of blame, hurt, and disillusionment. This destructive pattern is more common than realized. But why do we fall into these cycles repeatedly? Jung explained that unconsciously, we're drawn towards people reflecting our deepest wounds or patterns inherited from our families. If you experienced rejection during childhood, you might find yourself attracted towards emotionally distant individuals, not coincidentally, but because your psyche attempts to recreate the original wounding scenario, hoping to resolve it. Imagine someone who grew up feeling they needed to earn parental love, seeking a romantic partner who's cold or indifferent. They believe that finally winning this person's affection will heal their old wound. Instead, they fall into endless cycles of rejection and despair, reinforcing the very pain they wish to escape. Breaking these patterns requires making the unconscious conscious. As Jung said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." Without awareness of the forces shaping our relationships, we continue repeating painful patterns, believing them inevitable rather than choices we can change. One powerful method for liberation is identifying the archetypes influencing our relationships. Are you playing the savior, always trying to fix others? Perhaps you see yourself as the victim, constantly feeling powerless. Maybe you identify with the villain, pushing people away before they can hurt you. Reflect on what roles you've unconsciously played in past relationships and what patterns repeatedly emerge. Answering these questions begins the process of unraveling the hidden forces shaping your life. By bringing these patterns into awareness, you start breaking the cycle. Understanding your archetypes doesn't just free you from toxic relationships, it enables building healthier, more authentic, and fulfilling connections. 3. The healing process. Forgiveness isn't about time, it's about internal transformation. We often believe waiting will make pain fade, but Jung teaches us that true healing requires confronting our shadow. How do we face it? How do we genuinely heal from painful relationships? The first step is recognizing the emotions this person still triggers. When thinking about them, what do you feel? Anger? Sadness? Guilt? Rather than suppressing these feelings, fully acknowledge them. Writing in a journal or quiet reflection can help. Ask yourself, where is this feeling really coming from? Which parts of my past, insecurities, or unmet expectations are being reflected? For instance, if anger arises, it may target not just the other person, but yourself for allowing certain situations. If guilt surfaces, it might stem from fears of inadequacy. These emotions aren't random, they're windows into your shadow. Observing them without judgment begins dissolving their power over you. A powerful exercise involves visualizing the person before you, not as an enemy, but as a mirror. Ask, what is this relationship revealing about me? What must I accept or heal within myself to truly release this pain? Initially uncomfortable, even painful, this practice becomes deeply transformative. Jung believed every painful experience potentially teaches us something essential about ourselves. The relationships that mark us most profoundly, through love or suffering, offer opportunities to uncover hidden patterns, needing change, and wounds ready for healing. Instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" shift towards, "What can I learn from this?" If a relationship made you feel invisible or unappreciated, perhaps it signals the need to work on self-worth and establish stronger boundaries. If it created emotional dependency, it might present an opportunity to develop autonomy and strengthen your sense of self. Reframing pain as lessons empowers you, shifting from feeling like a victim towards becoming the creator of your own healing. Before we continue, I want to invite you to join our growing community of people committed to personal growth and emotional healing. Hit the subscribe button now to never miss another episode from Motivation Dose. Your comments help us create more targeted content that addresses your specific struggles, so please share your thoughts below. And if you know someone who might benefit from these insights, sharing this video could be the first step in their healing journey. Now, let's explore how to truly move forward. 4. Transformation and moving forward. To forget isn't to erase, but to reconnect with yourself in ways that strip the past of its power. Jung described this process as individuation, the journey towards emotional awareness and integration of all aspects of our psyche. It's a path of self-discovery, requiring us to embrace both our light and shadow, acknowledging every hidden corner of our being. Through this, we cultivate a deeper, more solid connection with our authentic self, beneath layers of conditioning and fear. Individuation demands commitment and courage. It's not an instant transformation, but a gradual unfolding of self-awareness where each small step matters. Begin by dedicating time for self-reflection, exploring passions, and nurturing neglected life aspects. Engage in soul-nourishing activities, meditation, painting, writing, or reconnecting with nature. These practices do more than provide temporary relief. They initiate profound, healing processes. Through this journey, you'll reach a life-changing realization. Peace doesn't come from external validation or circumstances. It emerges from within. As Jung wisely noted, "He who looks outside dreams, but he who looks inside awakens." This is your awakening moment. By turning inward, you don't merely seek answers. You rediscover yourself and reconnect with inner strength that always existed, waiting for acknowledgement. Consider what you're willing to do to embark on this journey towards your authentic self. Forgetting isn't an end. It's a beginning, marking the start of a path towards a fuller, more authentic life, where you take center stage, not past wounds. Rewriting the past doesn't mean changing events. It means transforming our interpretations. A painful experience's power often lies not in the events themselves, but in the narratives we construct. The stories we mentally repeat, where pain, guilt, or frustration dominate, become emotional prisons trapping us in suffering long after events conclude. Yet here's the truth. You are not your past or the sum of your wounds. You possess the power to reshape your story, extract wisdom from struggles, and reclaim your personal narrative. When you choose to reinterpret your past through strength rather than victimhood, you reclaim control, becoming the architect of your transformation. What will you choose? Will you continue being defined by yesterday's echoes or step into your healing power? Jung invites a different approach, transforming our narrative into a bridge towards growth and self-discovery. Consider your past as a book. For long periods, you've reread the same chapter marked by wounds, regrets, or reproaches. However, that chapter isn't your entire story. It's merely one part of a book you're still writing. What would happen if you took the pen and continued writing from a new perspective? Instead of focusing on losses or pain endured, shift attention towards lessons learned and strength uncovered while overcoming suffering. A transformative exercise involves visualization. Close your eyes and picture that person before you, not as an enemy or pain source, but as a fading image gradually losing intensity. Visualize their figure dissolving like dispersing clouds. In the empty space remaining, plant a seed symbolizing your future, a reminder of your power to grow beyond what you've experienced. Watch that seed take root and sprout, transforming into a strong, vibrant tree. Every day, that tree stands as testament to your ability to move forward, becoming wiser and more resilient. Rewriting our personal narrative doesn't diminish endured pain, it redefines its significance. Rather than viewing that chapter as defining your entire existence, see it as the moment initiating your transformation. Perhaps that relationship taught you about boundaries, what you truly deserve, or your remarkable capacity to endure and overcome hardship. When reframing your past this way, its weight lessens. That experience no longer remains an open wound, but becomes a scar telling a story of resilience. To forget, then, isn't to erase what happened, but to release the emotional burden attached. It allows the past to rest where it belongs, as a chapter in your journey shaping who you are today. By letting go, you create space for new beginnings, healthier relationships, and deeper, more authentic connection with yourself. It's not about ignoring your past, but choosing how to remember it. You hold the power to decide what place that experience occupies in your life. This is your transformation moment, your opportunity to write a new chapter where pain no longer defines you, but serves as foundation for something greater. What story do you want to tell about your life from this moment forward? Because ultimately, remembering isn't the problem. What truly matters is how you choose to remember, and most importantly, how you decide to move on. Forgetting someone who has hurt us isn't merely a matter of time. It's a journey of deep self-understanding and healing. The path towards releasing that weight begins when we dare look inward, confront our shadows, reinterpret our past, and construct liberating narratives. It's not about erasing our experiences, but transforming them into pillars of strength, reinforcing our identity and propelling us forwards. I invite you to reflect. What part of your shadow do you recognize in relationships that still wound you? What unprocessed emotions or recurring patterns are being revealed? Take time to not only recognize what happened, but reflect on what you can learn. Every experience, painful or uplifting, carries a hidden message that, when uncovered, can transform your perspective and strengthen your soul. Your story and experiences can become beacons of hope for others facing similar challenges. Never underestimate the impact your words and reflections might have. Sometimes, wisdom gained through hardship is precisely what someone else needs to find their way forward. Remember, we're all walking this path of self-discovery and healing together. The pain you carry today may feel eternal, as if it will never fade, as if its weight will always press against your chest. But if you dare look inward, if you take time to explore the depths of your being, you'll find the key to letting go. You'll realize that within you lies infinite power, the power to heal, rise, and emerge stronger than before. Every step towards self-awareness, every moment of introspection, every small decision to release what no longer serves you, moves you towards a more authentic and fulfilling life. Healing isn't about forgetting. It's about transforming, reshaping pain into wisdom, using it as fuel for personal evolution. Forgetting isn't the end. It's the beginning of a new path, a transformation journey leading towards clarity, growth, and unshakable inner peace. If these words have resonated, take action today. Don't let this be another fleeting reflection moment. Make it the beginning of something greater. Take a few minutes to document your thoughts, visualize the life you want to create, and begin laying foundations for a future filled with possibilities. Every great transformation begins with a single step that starts within you. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the unconscious depths, into profound understanding of what truly means to let go, heal, and reclaim your power. Always remember, every step forward counts, no matter how small. You're never alone on this path. I'll see you in the next video, where we'll continue exploring mind mysteries and uncovering keys to living a more conscious, intentional, and meaningful life. Until then, keep growing, keep discovering, and never stop embracing the extraordinary power within you.